Welcome back to the channel, everyone. In part 3, we witnessed Jin-Woo's army of shadows and monsters fight bravely against overwhelming forces, sacrificing everything to protect the weak. But even as victory seemed close, a new, unimaginable threat emerged, far stronger, far more destructive, and far more intelligent than anything our Shadow Monarch has faced before. Today, we step into the ultimate storm. Brace yourselves, because this is the final chapter in Jin-Woo's epic battle, and nothing will ever be the same. Now, let's begin. The city was in ruins. Buildings lay in fragments, smoke and dust clung to every corner, and the trembling ground reflected the aftershocks of Jin-Woo's previous battle. Yet, before Jin-Woo and his army could catch their breath, a pulse of energy surged from the horizon, radiating with a presence that dwarfed everything they had faced before. Heian's eyes widened in disbelief. Jin-Woo, it's enormous, the energy, it's unlike anything we've ever seen. Shadows coiled violently around Jin-Woo, sensing the danger. Monsters at his side growled and bristled, their instincts warning them of a threat far beyond the colossal figure they had just defeated. Jin-Woo's gaze hardened. Focus. Shadows, monsters, prepare yourselves. This is no ordinary enemy. Every movement, every strike, must be precise. Hesitation is death. From the horizon, the energy condensed into a towering figure. Its form was vaguely humanoid but grotesque, radiating an aura that distorted the air. Each movement sent ripples of power, flattening debris and throwing monsters into the air. Beru's antennae twitched rapidly, scanning the battlefield. Jin-Woo, it's not just strong, it's tactical. It's analyzing our every move. Jin-Woo's jaw tightened. Then we adapt. Shadows, divide, intercept, and strike. Monsters, protect, flank, and endure. Every action counts. Today, we face the ultimate test. The new enemy raised its arm, and a wave of energy spread across the battlefield, pulverizing buildings and sending shockwaves through the ground. Shadows twisted into massive shields, monsters leapt to intercept, and Jin-Woo moved faster than the eye could follow, coordinating attacks with flawless timing. Heian shouted, determination blazing. We fight. For every life lost, for Jin-Woo, we endure, strike, survive. Jin-Woo's aura flared brighter. Exactly. Shadows, monsters, strike as one. Protect, intercept, endure. Today, we define our fate. The enemy's energy pulses clashed with Jin-Woo's shadows, creating massive explosions that shook the city. Smoke and dust hung heavy, obscuring the battlefield, but Jin-Woo's army moved with unwavering precision, coordinating strikes, defenses, and tactical maneuvers. Even the colossal figure, once the apex threat, staggered under the new presence's overwhelming power. Impossible, one human, commanding such power, and monsters, this cannot be. It bellowed. Jin-Woo's voice cut through the chaos. Focus. Every strike, every defense, counts. We endure. We survive. We rise above the storm. Shadows lashed outward, forming massive blades, chains, and tendrils. Monsters intercepted energy waves and flanked with lethal precision. Each movement was synchronized, a ballet of destruction and defense orchestrated by Jin-Woo's unyielding will. Heian gasped. Jin-Woo, it's incredible, the army, it's moving as one. But the new enemy wasn't just powerful, it was intelligent. Each attack countered, each strategy adapted, and every opening closed faster than Jin-Woo's shadows could react. The city trembled under the immense power of the battle, and even the monsters began to show signs of fatigue. Beru's voice was urgent. Jin-Woo, they're learning faster than we can strike. We need something decisive, now. Jin-Woo's eyes glowed, his aura flaring like a storm. Then we escalate. Shadows, expand, intertwine, dominate. Monsters, intercept, flank, protect. Every move is decisive. Every strike, life or death. Today, the ultimate storm begins. The enemy unleashed a massive energy wave, the sheer force tearing through the ground. Shadows coiled violently to intercept, monsters collided with perfect timing, and Jin-Woo darted across the battlefield, striking openings and coordinating defenses simultaneously. Heian watched, awestruck. They're giving everything, for Jin-Woo, for each other. Jin-Woo's lips curved slightly. Then we rise. Shadows, monsters, endure, protect, strike. This is the decisive moment. This is the ultimate battle. The city shook violently. Debris flew. Shadows lashed with deadly precision. Monsters roared and flanked. And above it all, Jin-Woo stood unwavering, the embodiment of the Shadow Monarch, commanding an army united by loyalty, strategy, and sheer determination. A tense silence fell for a heartbeat, then the enemy surged forward, faster than the eye could follow. The ultimate storm had truly begun. The enemy's presence pressed down on the battlefield like an unyielding weight. Every pulse of energy sent shockwaves through the ruins of the city, threatening to crush anything in its path. Shadows writhed violently around Jin-Woo, forming shields, blades, and whips, while monsters at his side braced for impact. Heian gritted her teeth, watching the devastation. Jin-Woo, it's unstoppable. Some of the monsters are already falling. Beru's antennae twitched anxiously. Their numbers are diminishing fast. If we can't create an opening soon, the army will be wiped out. Jin-Woo's eyes narrowed, glowing with calm intensity. Then every sacrifice must count. Shadows, create layers of defense and offense. Monsters, flank, intercept, protect. Every strike, every life, matters. The enemy unleashed a massive energy blast, sending waves of destructive force sweeping across the battlefield. Buildings crumbled, the ground shook violently, and several monsters leapt into the path of the attack, absorbing it to shield others. Heian gasped, tears in her eyes. They're giving everything, for us, for Jin-Woo. Jin-Woo moved with supernatural precision, weaving through the chaos. Shadows extended into massive chains and blades, striking openings in the enemy's form while shielding the injured. Monsters intercepted energy waves, flanking and attacking with perfect timing. Shadows, monsters, focus. Jin-Woo commanded, voice ringing over the battlefield. Protect the weak, intercept the strong, strike the openings. Today, we rise above the storm. The enemy staggered under the relentless assault, but each movement was calculated, precise, and lethal. It countered every strike, closing openings almost as quickly as Jin-Woo's army created them. Beru darted beside Jin-Woo. Jin-Woo, we can't sustain this indefinitely. The force, it's beyond what we've ever faced. Then we escalate, Jin-Woo replied, aura flaring like a tempest. Shadows, intertwine, dominate. Monsters, intercept, flank, endure. Every strike, every sacrifice, leads to one decisive moment. The storm is ours to command. The enemy unleashed another cataclysmic wave of energy, larger than before. Shadows twisted violently, forming massive shields to intercept. Monsters collided with the force, some falling in the process, their sacrifices buying precious time for the rest. Heian shouted, determination burning. We endure. For Jin-Woo, for each other, we survive, strike, and rise. Jin-Woo's lips curved slightly. Exactly. Shadows, monsters, unite. Every movement, every strike, must be flawless. Today, we define our fate. The battlefield became a whirlwind of motion. Shadows lashed like serpents, blades slicing through waves of energy. Monsters roared, leaping and striking with deadly precision. The enemy's energy pulses met resistance at every turn, staggering under the coordinated onslaught. Heian's voice shook with awe. Jin-Woo, it's working, the enemy, it's faltering. Jin-Woo's eyes glowed brighter. Good, but stay vigilant. The final strike must be perfect. Shadows, monsters, endure, protect, strike. Every life, every effort, comes to this moment. The enemy faltered, a hint of uncertainty flickering in its glowing eyes. Jin-Woo seized the opportunity, directing his army with surgical precision. Shadows intertwined with monsters, forming living weapons of destruction. Debris flew, energy waves collided, and the city trembled under the force of the ultimate storm. Yet, Jin-Woo's army pressed on, enduring, protecting, and striking with a single purpose: victory. Now, Jin-Woo whispered, voice low but unwavering, everything we've endured, every sacrifice, every shadow, comes together. This is the decisive moment. This is our ultimate strike. The air vibrated with tension. The enemy staggered once more, sensing that Jin-Woo's combined force was unlike anything it had ever faced. The battlefield fell into a brief silence, the calm before the final, cataclysmic clash. The battlefield had become a storm of destruction. Debris flew in all directions, buildings crumbled, and the very air vibrated under the weight of energy pulses from the enemy. Shadows lashed violently around Jin-Woo, forming massive blades, shields, and chains that twisted and coiled with a life of their own. Heian shouted, her voice trembling but filled with determination. Jin-Woo, the enemy, it's still moving. Can we survive this? Jin-Woo's eyes glowed brighter, unwavering and sharp as blades. We endure. Shadows, monsters, every movement counts. Protect, intercept, strike. Today, the storm is ours to command. The enemy surged forward, its energy radiating like a collapsing star. Shockwaves flattened structures and sent monsters flying in all directions. Even the most resilient monsters staggered under the force. Beru's antennae flicked frantically. Jin-Woo, it's analyzing everything we do. Every strike, every defense, it's adapting instantly. Then we evolve, Jin-Woo replied, aura flaring like a tempest. Shadows, expand, intertwine, dominate. Monsters, intercept, flank, endure. Every strike, every sacrifice, leads to one decisive moment. Now, we strike together. The shadows erupted violently, forming jagged wings that lashed out like living whips. Massive blades sliced through the air, intercepting energy waves, while monsters flanked and attacked openings with lethal precision. Heian gasped, awestruck. Jin-Woo, the army, it's moving as one. Like they're alive, working together. Jin-Woo's voice rang through the chaos, calm and commanding. Exactly. Shadows, monsters, protect, strike, endure. Every life, every movement, defines our fate. This is the final storm. The enemy staggered under the relentless assault, but it countered with a pulse of energy so massive it threatened to annihilate everything in its path. Shadows twisted violently, forming barriers and counterblades. Monsters collided with the wave, absorbing some of its force, while Jin-Woo darted forward with blinding speed, striking the enemy's weak points. Beru cried out. Jin-Woo, they're faltering. But, the energy they radiate, it's unlike anything we've faced. Then we endure, Jin-Woo said, voice steady. Shadows, monsters, focus. Protect the weak, intercept the strong, strike the opening. Every sacrifice, every effort, leads to victory. The enemy roared, staggering, its glowing eyes flashing with intelligence and fury. It lashed out with energy waves that distorted the air, collapsing debris around it. But Jin-Woo, with precise timing and flawless strategy, directed his shadows and monsters to intercept and counter at every moment. Heian's eyes widened, tears streaming. Jin-Woo, it's incredible, the shadows, the monsters, they're giving everything for you. Jin-Woo's lips curved slightly. Then let's end this. Shadows, monsters, unite. Protect, strike, endure. This is our ultimate strike. Shadows and monsters surged together in a coordinated, living weapon. Massive blades of shadow cut through energy waves. Monsters flanked, intercepted, and struck openings with deadly precision. The enemy faltered, staggering for the first time under the coordinated assault. The air trembled violently. The city shook. Debris rained down as Jin-Woo's shadows coiled like a storm around the enemy, while monsters launched synchronized attacks from every direction. Heian shouted, awe and excitement mingling. Jin-Woo, the enemy, it's weakening. We're winning. Jin-Woo's gaze narrowed, focused on the ultimate moment. Shadows, monsters, endure, protect, strike. Today, we rise above the storm. Energy clashed, explosions erupted, and the battlefield shook as Jin-Woo unleashed everything he had. The enemy staggered again, faltering under the combined might of shadows and monsters. Jin-Woo's ultimate strategy, every sacrifice, every calculated strike, had begun to turn the tide. And then, silence. The enemy froze, sensing that it had met a force unlike any before. Jin-Woo's army, battered but unbroken, stood ready. Shadows writhed violently, monsters bristled, and Jin-Woo's eyes glowed with unyielding resolve. This is only the beginning of the final moment, Jin-Woo whispered. Shadows, monsters, the ultimate storm is here. The battlefield was a storm of chaos. Dust, debris, and energy pulses swirled through the air, making it nearly impossible to see more than a few meters ahead. Shadows twisted and coiled around Jin-Woo, forming jagged wings, massive blades, and unyielding shields. Monsters leapt and collided, protecting allies and striking openings with perfect precision. Heian shouted, tears in her eyes. Jin-Woo, this is it, the ultimate battle. Jin-Woo's gaze was steady, unwavering. Yes, the ultimate storm. Shadows, monsters, endure, protect, strike. Today, we define everything. The enemy, staggering but still radiating immense energy, raised its hands. Waves of destructive force radiated outward, flattening buildings and shaking the ground violently. Every monster and shadow moved instinctively, intercepting attacks, shielding allies, and countering with lethal strikes. Beru cried out. Jin-Woo, it's resisting everything. The energy, it's beyond anything we've seen. Jin-Woo's aura flared violently, shadows whipping outward like living tendrils. Then we give everything we have. Shadows, intertwine, dominate. Monsters, intercept, flank, protect. Every strike, every sacrifice, leads to one moment. Now, we end this. The enemy unleashed a massive, cataclysmic energy wave, larger than any before. Shadows formed massive shields to intercept, coiling violently to protect monsters and allies. Several brave monsters collided with the wave, absorbing energy, their sacrifice buying precious seconds for the final strike. Heian's voice rang out, trembling yet fierce. We fight, for Jin-Woo, for each other, we endure. Jin-Woo's lips curved slightly, eyes blazing. Exactly. Shadows, monsters, unite. Protect, strike, endure. Every life, every movement, comes together for the ultimate strike. Shadows surged like a tidal wave, intertwining with monsters into a coordinated living weapon. Blades of pure shadow slashed through energy waves, while monsters leapt and struck openings with deadly precision. The enemy staggered, sensing the force of Jin-Woo's combined power. Impossible, one human, commanding such an army. It roared, staggering for the first time. Heian gasped, awestruck. Jin-Woo, it's working, the enemy, it's faltering. Jin-Woo's voice cut through the chaos. Now, the final moment. Shadows, monsters, endure, strike, protect. Today, we rise above the storm. Energy collided violently, shaking the city to its foundations. Shadows and monsters moved as one, striking with perfect timing, intercepting every counterattack, and exploiting every weakness. The enemy staggered again, this time faltering completely. Jin-Woo's eyes glowed like twin suns. This ends now. Shadows, monsters, ultimate strike. A massive wave of shadow energy, fueled by the combined strength of Jin-Woo and his army, exploded outward. The enemy let out a deafening roar as it was engulfed, energy dispersing in a brilliant flash of light. When the light faded, the enemy lay defeated, powerless, its energy dissipated into nothingness. Heian collapsed to her knees, overwhelmed. It's over, Jin-Woo, you did it. Beru slowly approached, antennae twitching. The army, they survived, thanks to you, Jin-Woo. Your strategy, your power, your will. Jin-Woo stood amid the ruins, shadows slowly retracting, the air trembling from the aftereffects of the battle. We endured, we survived, we rose above the storm. But this world, will never be the same. Heian knelt beside him, voice soft. Jin-Woo, everyone, the monsters, the shadows, they gave everything for you. And you carried them through it all. Jin-Woo's gaze softened for the first time. They were my army, my companions, my responsibility. We survived, together. The battlefield fell silent, the dust settling over the ruins. Buildings lay broken, smoke rose in spirals, and the sun began to pierce through the haze. Jin-Woo's shadow army, battered but alive, stood as a testament to the loyalty, courage, and sacrifices made. Heian whispered, "It's finally over, but, what now, Jin-Woo?" Jin-Woo looked toward the horizon, eyes distant, calm, yet resolved. Now, we rebuild. We endure. And we prepare, for whatever comes next. Shadows, monsters, the world is ours to protect. The story of Jin-Woo, the Shadow Monarch, reached its conclusion. A tale of loyalty, courage, and overwhelming power. A storm had passed, but the legend of Jin-Woo and his army would echo in every shadow, in every whispered tale, for generations to come. What an epic conclusion. Jin-Woo, his shadows, and his loyal monsters faced the ultimate enemy, endured unimaginable challenges, and rose above the storm. Every sacrifice, every strike, every moment of strategy has led to this triumphant victory. Heian, Beru, and the remaining monsters stood witness to the courage and brilliance of the Shadow Monarch, a leader who not only commanded power but inspired loyalty and determination in all who followed him. If you enjoyed this epic journey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Comment below with your favorite moment from Jin-Woo's final battle, and let us know which scene thrilled you the most. The storm has passed, the enemies are defeated, and the legend of the Shadow Monarch lives on, an enduring story of courage, loyalty, and the power of standing together. Thank you for following this journey, and stay tuned for more epic tales, because every shadow has a story, and every storm leaves behind